everyone, and welcome to the first of several recordings that I'll be making. But before I start with this, I feel I need a prerequisite, not prerequisite, not prerequisite it, but just give a bit of a idea of what's going to be going on. So this will be the last video that will be uploaded to this channel, Ethan Benjamin, not the Grand MA2 tutorials one, the Ethan Benjamin one. It's my personal YouTube channel, and I've uploaded a couple videos here, and we've gotten a couple of subscribers. But I am now started a Grand MA2 tutorial page with a guy named Lucas in Germany, and we're going to be creating basically an A to Z guide on how to make tutorials. So yeah, so it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun doing it. And yeah. So basically, if you want to continue watching like the series we're going to be doing, please make sure to subscribe to the channel that will be linked at the end of the video. And then basically it will be an A to Z guide. So we're going to start today with the basics, and then every week on a Saturday there'll be an upload, and it'll be a different topic. So you guys can put in the comments below what kind of topics you want to see. And yeah, and then obviously there'll be every now and then there'll be another video of sorts where it doesn't really fall into our A to Z tutorial, but it falls into we want to make it. So if you have any questions, I'm sure a lot of you want to know some more advanced things, let us know. And I can't remember if I mentioned this, but we will be uploading both English and German. So if you are a native German speaker and you'd rather watch it in German, please watch out, because those videos will be coming out. And then, yeah, so I guess let's just get straight into it. So as you can see, I've got a blank show file here, and that's what we're going to be working with. So we're going to go into setup, or let me actually switch shortcuts off. So I'm not going to be using any shortcuts, no keyboard stuff, clicking everything. So the first thing we're going to do to patch the console is we're going to say setup. We're now going to go to patch and fixture schedule over here and click on that. Now in MA, you organize your fixtures by layers. So layers can be used. So you can define layers for different spots, for different light types. So you could have a layer for spots, beams, washers, strobes, LEDs, whatever you want, or different positions. Like I see some people do. So they'll have a front truss, mid truss, back truss, floor, that kind of stuff layer. So I do mine by type. So I'm going to type in spots here. And then when you get into this, you've got two options. You can either select from library, or you can just patch a generic dimmer. So we're going to say select from library, and we're going to patch in 10 Roby pointies. So you can see here I type in the manufacturer, Roby, and then I type in the model type. And then it'll come up with all the different ones that match that and the different modes. So you can see we've got the different modes for the pointies. So we've got the 24 channel one, we've got the 16 channel one, and the massive one which we're going to import. So let's import the robe pointy. Now I'm going to put in 10 of them, just because it's a nice even number. No way to putting in 8 to I work in numbers like that. And then you've got two options of how you can identify your fixture. So you can either use fixture ID, which is what we'll be using, and or you can use channel ID. So I'm going to also just put in a channel ID of 1 and press apply. So now we have patched in the 8 Roby pointies. And then in here, you can also say if you want to invert your DMX output, or if you actually want to invert the encoders, they'll go the opposite way of what they're meant to go. So now that we're done that, we'll say close, and also your leaving patch and fixture schedule. If you had any warnings, they would come up here and you could check them out. But yeah, so we want to save all the changes. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to go to MA3D, and I'm going to show you guys just how to move everything through in MA3D. And I mean, honestly, I don't set it up that much on the console with a view if I don't have time. That's only really when I'm doing it on a PC. So a quick trick with MA is you can zoom in with MA3D. You can zoom in and out on a specific point by using your mouse scroller. So you can see if I put my mouse here, I'll zoom in there as I'm zooming in and out. But if you right click, you can get different options in the corner over here. So you can say move, where it just moves around, pan, where it actually pans around, orbit, where it orbits around, and zoom, where you move it forward and backwards and zooms. So we're now actually going to go into, let me try and get centered again. Yeah, that's the only issue. Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer to do. So we're going to lay ours out. We're going to lay them on a really basic kind of manner, so it'll just be like a straight line really We're not going to do any advanced stage design or anything at this stage. At this stage. So yeah, so it'll just be a basic layout. And so when you come to this, you've got a couple of options of what you can do. So you can go into stage view and, or not stage view, 3D object, and you'll see it'll list all your objects along with all of their positions and all that kind of data. So we're gonna, and here you can select. So we're gonna select the first of the lights, and you'll see it'll actually bring these up. So with these, you can move it around, obviously. So the first thing we're going to do is realize we're on the wrong side of the stage. So we're just going to do that to get onto the side, which is probably also wrong, but you know, whatever. And we see that they're upside down. Now I want to put them on the floor. So I'm going to go into 3D objects. I'm going to hit this, and on the x-axis, I'm going to say 180, and that should flip it. Yeah, so that flips it. So now you can see that I can actually move it around with, if I just go like this, you can see when I click on it, it brings up a whole lot of different options. So I can move it like that, or like that. So generally when you're setting up just a stage like this, it's nice to just find a position you like, put one light there, and then just get that there. And then from there, just add the other lights in. So you can see now, it gives me all the position data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go copy that on the rest of my lights with an offset of 1 meter. So everything's going to be in exactly the same position, except they will be offset by 1 meter. So you can see, oh, wow, I messed that up. So it has to be y must equal the same, and this must be offset by 1 meter. So negative 3.48. Let's see if that worked. Yeah, it worked. And then all we've got to do is flip it 180. So we're just going to do this for the next set of lights, for the next couple lights. And obviously this is going to be we are going to do it like with you kind of story. So we're not going to speed anything up. We're going to do it all live. So the videos might be a bit longer than you might like, but really we're going to try to keep them to about under 20 minutes if possible. So, but they're the kind of video where, you know, you're going to get some food, get a drink or whatever, sit back, watch, and learn. And I'm just going to let you guys know that we will be sharing the show file each week. So we're obviously going to share the show file in this video. It'll be in Dropbox, and you can download it and have a look at it. But the idea really is for you to follow along and add and then work with us. So you can download the show file afterwards to check if something isn't working and you want to see why. But it isn't like just download and try and learn from them. We're making this video and we're going to show you how to do it. And then we are going to give you the tools to check. It's like in a maths textbook, you get the answers at the back of the book. And the idea isn't that you'll go and just check the answer. The idea is you'll work through and then you'll check the answer. So that's the kind of philosophy I guess we're going for. So yeah, so you'll be able to check it each week, follow along. We're going to be working on the same show file each week, but obviously we'll release the updated version, so that's where the whole work along idea comes in. So let's just finish this up. 0.01. Wow, we're already on 8 minutes. That's crazy. 180. We're not even halfway through. So yeah, you can see now all the lights have kind of gotten into formation. So yeah, so now we're going to go back into MA, and the first thing we're going to do is we are going to set a group pool. So the way I usually put my group pool on the multi-touch screen. So you just click anywhere on the console, it would apply the same. You click anywhere on the screen, go to pools and groups, and then you've got your groups pool. So there's a couple ways to set up groups. You could say, I just need to check what my fixture numbers are, 1 through 8. So you could say fixture 1 through 8 store here, and then you've got all your and then you've got them all stored there. Or you can create a stage view. If you've got 3D, you just go click on, so I'm on screen 2 now. You click anywhere again to decide the size of it. You go to other and stage, and then it lays out your stage view. And then to resize a view, you just pull there, and you can move it around, and then you can move it around like that. And then to store it, you press store, close that, and touch anywhere. So I'm just going to store this and name it stage. Now, the important thing to remember with MA is it's actually going to record the order in which you select the lights. So if I were to select them like this, it would record that. So if I had a basic dimmer sine wave, it would go from this light to 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 this light. So 90% of the time, you're going to want to create a symmetrical effect, which means you're literally going from left to right. So if you've got them patched from left to right and it's fixture 1 to 8, that'll be a symmetrical effect. Or you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's selected, store there. And you can see they're the same thing. The last option is you can actually have it auto created for you. So again, you go to setup, auto create, group, select what you want, you select the lights you want, which group you want to start at, and you just say create all. It'll say create one groups, and then there's your group. So yeah, that's groups covered. And so the important thing to understand with groups though is they do record the way in which you select them. So this will come in important, especially when you get into effects. So when you get into effects, it's going to come in really important. So with the views, so now we've created this view. Okay, so now I want to create an effects pool. So I'm going to say I'm going to drag this in a bit until I get a bit of gray. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say clear screen. So the next thing I want to create is I want to create an effects pool. So I'm going to go over to pools again, and I'm going to press effects. So with all these pools and views and all these lovely things, you must just take the time, scroll through them, and see what they are. If I sat here and showed you each one, it would take hours. So now I'm going to store this again to an empty group tile and name it FX. And the first thing we do once we create an effect pool is import effects, because MA has a lot of predefined effects. So we're going to go import, export, import, effects, predefined effects, and then we're going to click on that, scroll to the bottom, hold shift, select it, start at effect 1, import. And now you can see it has actually populated our group with our effect pool with effects. So if we select a group of lights and, for example, press a dimmer sign, you can see it'll start doing a dimmer sine wave. So if you want to, so basically there's effects for each of the different parameters. So you've got you can have dimmer effects, position effects, gobo effects, color effects, beam effects, focus effects, and yeah. And the nice thing with lights that have both a shutter and dimming is you can have a dimmer effect and a shutter effect running at the same time. So you can see I can actually have the dimmer sine wave and the shutter PWM, pulse width movement, running at the same time. But for example, I can't have the dimmer sine wave. I need to select a group of lights, a dimmer sine and a, let's say, pan tilt circle and then a wave at the same time, because they're affecting the same parameters. They'll overwrite each other. So the nice thing with views is you're not limited to one thing. You can, I'm going to bring this up a bit, and I'm going to click here, and I'm going to put a group pool so that I don't have to constantly be clicking back and forth to do it. So then I'm going to save it again, and then it'll save that. So now that we've covered how to import effects, we're going to cover how to actually create effects, which is what you're going to want to do. So I'm just going to create two effects. I'm going to create a circle effect, a circle symmetrical effect, and a dimmer effect. So let's start with the circle symmetrical effect. So what you want to do is figure out what your lights are positioned at. So I go to position and tilt them to 180. And just see which way they point. So they point, if I go and highlight them quickly, so highlight just switches on the dimmer, they are pointed straight. So that means normal rules apply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to select these. I'm going to click on an empty effect tile. So I'm going to just click on it, or I'm going to say edit and then click on it. Where is edit, that, and then it brings it up. So I'm going to say add, and I'm going to select what parameters I would like to control. So you can see this is for the specific lamp or light I've selected. So I'm going to say I want to control position. Now, the relative versus absolute effect is basically up to you. So either you can have a relative effect, which will move around any position that's already in place, or you can have a absolute effect, which will make it move between the defined positions. So I like to go absolute. That's really your choice thing. If you want to have relative, go relative. So to create a circle effect, you need to right click on the form or just click on the form. Oh wait, no. I'm on PC, so I'm thinking about PC now. So you say edit, and then you click on the form, and then you check what form you want. So for the circle, for the pan, you want circle 19.1. Then for the tilt, you want circle 19.2. And now that you've created that, the next thing you need to choose your speed. So either you can put on a speed group, which I haven't done any yet, or you can just put the speed blank in. So I'm just going to put the speed blank in as 5 BPM. So you'd also say edit, oh, no, cancel, we haven't talked about oops yet, edit 5.0. Now, when you get to make the symmetrical effect where they're moving in on each other, you are going to look at the wings. So to create a symmetrical effect, your pan must be -2, and your tilt must be +2. So what that means is a split into 2. You could split into 4, whatever you want, as long as your pan is a negative and your tilt is a positive. That's basically all that matters. So now, if we select the group of lights, we go Command Overlay, at, which brings dimmer to full, and we run the effect, and then we go in, you'll see that they are actually doing it. Well, they're not doing much now because I haven't really set a proper thing, but you can see they are moving in a circle. So it's moving in and around. And that's it to a symmetrical effect. I mean, if you want, you can always obviously say you only want 2 wings, or you want no wings. So let's just do a thing of 2 wings first, so you can see what that looks like. So now that that's done, you'll see they're all moving in the same direction, just in 2 wings. So they're basically, it splits down the middle, and then it's 2 groups. Or you can, you can say none, and then just see what that looks like. Edit 0. So, and then you can see that they're then just going to move they're just going to move randomly. Basically, they'll move in the order that you've programmed them to move in, but there'll be no like symmetrical look or anything. So the next thing after you've created the basic effect is to edit the actual low and high values. So for this effect, I want a low pan value of -40 and a positive pan value of 40, and then I want it to be moving between -10 and -90. So basic math rules apply here. The space or the length of the one of a side, so that the left to the right of the circle must be equal to the top to the bottom. So you can see now it'll be moving in the way I've told it to move, but I said negative instead of positive for the tilt. So let me just change that quickly. You know, we're all learning to make mistakes here. So, because I've been working on rigs where I've had to use negative in the past couple of weeks, and then you can see it's doing, now you can see it better. It's moving along the way you selected it with no wings, no groups, nothing. So I am now going to set that back to a symmetrical group with obviously -2 and +2. And now if we go back into the thing, you'll see it is moving in a symmetrical pattern. So now that that's done, we can clear out completely, and yeah, you've created your effect. So what you want to do quite often when you're working on a show file is back up. So just double click on back. Why aren't they? Oh. So just double click back up, and it will automatically save. That's we can go back up, save show. That's it. So you might want to obviously name your effect. So if you just store an effect and you start typing immediately, you can enter the name for it. So you can see it's entered the name. But if you've already done it and then you want to change it, and this applies to everything in MA can be named like this, you double click a sign until it says label, click on it, and then you can type in what you want. So yeah. So now let's go on to creating a basic, I skipped this part, I'm sorry. I am like trying to go off of a script here, but it's kind of hard. Sorry, so now we are going to go on to how to create presets. So to create a preset, there's a preset for everything. There's a preset for color, preset for position, preset for whatever you want. So you go to the presets window and then you can select what you want. So for us, we're just going to be doing a color preset. So I'm going to open the color window and then, as always, store it to blank view tile and name it color. So the way presets work is you select the attributes in your light, so color, and I'm going to create a quick color palette. So I want red. I'm going to select red on the light. I'm going to say store there, and you'll see it says red. I then want yellow. I'm going to say store yellow, and then you'll just do this. I'm just going to do a quick one, and amber, store. I'm just going to create 4 colors quickly. That says yellow again, and blue. Store there. So now I've got my quick, or lavender. So now I've got my quick color palette. So these are globals that apply to all fixtures that have the attribute, or that you selected when they have the attributes, but you can change that. So you can say assign, click on it, and then just press please, and then you can select if you want it to be, so normal would just mean it is just, I only use normal default, so normal will mean it'll happen when you click on it. Default is the light will always be in that color. That's basically all it means. You can see I can, even if I don't have any lights selected, so you can see none are selected, if I double click on this, it's going to activate because it only had one type of light stored. So now that we have created our basic color palette, let's go on to just creating a basic scene. So if I continue, let's actually just put a couple preset palettes here. So let's put a all palette, and all basically means it'll store everything, basically like an executor. So it'll store dimmer, position, everything. Dimmer, position, and then let's just store a gobo. So I'm gonna rename this. Oh fuck. Yeah, that's the only issue is I forget that I don't have keyboard shortcuts on. So that'll happen quite a few times. But you know, always hilarious. So let's just do our color palettes again. Oh no, just a whole lot of palettes again. So position and gobo. Command overlay, store there, and then just say preset. So we're changing this now. So you can override view buttons if you want to. Alright, so now that we've created this, I think let's just jump straight into creating a scene. So let's select our lights. We want them at full intensity, and we are just going to position them at 90 degrees. So now you can see that they've done that. And then we're just going to press store and select an executor. So there's a couple ways you can store your thing. You can either say store, then press the executor and it'll store to that executor, or if you just say, if it's the first one, you just say, just set up this up again. You just say store, please. It'll store to the selected executor. So I can say what I want to store it as. So it'll only happen on the first time you've stored a second queue, and most of the time it'll be create second queue. So then now it creates two queues. But I do not want two queues because we're still busy learning one queue. So let's just press edit, delete, and delete Q2, because you can delete queues within a thing. So the next step is we actually want to show you how to assign stuff on an executor. So an executor on MA has 3 buttons in total. So it has 2 above and 2 below, and then there's obviously the executor buttons, which we'll talk about later. But all of these are assignable. So if I go assign and click here, you can see it brings me a lovely representation of the thing. So I don't need a go button because I don't have more than one queue, and I want it to flash. So I just want to flash the queue. So I can set that to flash. Now I want this button to be a go because I might add extra buttons on later, and then that one can stay off. So what that means when I do this, it will just flash the queue, bring it up, it will bring the queue up, and then that'll switch the queue off. So obviously there's like lots of different things you can assign, so you just need to find what's the kind of layout you like, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so that's storing. Obviously you can store more than one queue. So let's say I set up another one, so it's the same. It's at full, but it's at -90 now. And then I'll just say store, please. It'll ask me what I want to store it as, because I'm storing the second queue for the first time technically, and then it'll store. So like now if I show you, if I bring this up and I go into MA, it'll go into position. If I then press go, it'll then do that. So, and then if I were to press, if I didn't have anything and I press flash, it would quickly move into position. Let's see if I can just, because I haven't got this set up as 2 screens today. If I just press that, no I can't. Okay, so you get the gist of it. It'll flash into the position, and then when you let go, it'll go out of the position. From the next tutorial, I'll make sure I have, I'll make sure I have 2 screens set up so I can do all of this. So there's a couple things I need to cover within a sequence. So there's a thing called tracking, and I don't really use tracking that much because I do more busking shows than anything else. Basically, what tracking is if I store one effect where I've got a gobo and a color in it, and then the next effect I've only changed the position, the gobo and the color are going to stay in, as it goes to the next position, because I didn't bring them into the programmer when I actually changed it. So what I mean by that is if I press this, all it's doing is selecting the lights. So it isn't actually selecting any positions, any parameters. But if I want to bring the parameter into the programmer, I double click and then you can see it goes red, and that means it's in the programmer. But so say I change the dimmer, it's not going to carry over it. All the other stuff will carry over to the next effect. The dimmer is just going to change. So the quickest way to actually change to just get rid of tracking is to just double click, and then it brings everything into the programmer. So that if you want the next queue to carry nothing from the previous queue, that's what it'll do. So that's tracking basically done. And then, yeah, that's about everything. So the last thing we need to cover is just this window here. So this is, I don't know the technical term for that, it's just the control area really. And it just controls everything that you might need to use. So if I go to like pointies, if I select my pointies, you can see I can go to dimmer. And then I can change the dimmer. But if I want to change it, because you see now it's changing quite fast. Even if I do this, it's going to change quite fast. But say I need to change it very incrementally, I can switch it between fine and ultra, and then I can get the like nice smooth things I want. And that applies to everything. So I can switch ultra and fine and normal to everything, every one of them. So, and then also with these, like in certain fixtures, you might have more than one gobo wheel. So all you have to do is if you click on that, it'll switch between, if you click on that on the desk, it'll switch between the different ones. Same thing with color. Oh, this doesn't have two. And then with beams, I might go between like beam effects, shutter, beam effects, frost, everything. So yeah, and then if you have a color mixing fixture, you can actually say special dialog, and you can then bring up or with any fixture, you can bring up a color picker. So you can, if you touch wherever, it'll replicate the color as close as possible. So that's about it for today's tutorial. I'm just checking if there's anything I missed quickly. So I've shown you guys how to do MA3D stuff. Groups are done, views are done, presets done, storing's done, effects done, control window done. So yeah, that's everything done. So yeah, as you can see, we've made the basic show file. We've got our different views set up, a few different views, create a stage view, done, just a couple of things that will work. So then next week we'll go in depth onto how to create positions, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the other channel for the rest of the series, and then obviously just have a nice day, I guess. Or am I finished yet? Or do I want to keep you guys a bit longer? Yeah, so make sure, because as I said at the beginning, this will be the last video I put on this channel. I might put a few more, but this will be the last, probably the last like in-depth tutorial, unless I think there's something more advanced. So next week we're going to start moving over into, so I'm just giving you guys a bit of a hint for next week. We're going to start moving over to like action buttons and on-screen executors, as well as changing color on the fly, putting color to executors, only having executors controlling one parameter. It doesn't make sense now, but it'll make sense next week. So yes, I hope you guys have enjoyed. As always, please subscribe, like, comment. If you have any questions, please comment in the description. There'll also be my email down there, so you can pop me an email. Also, if you didn't like anything about today's tutorial, maybe I spoke too fast, maybe I didn't cover stuff in enough detail, whatever, just let me know in the comments. I will this is like my first proper in-depth tutorial to MA. I'm by no means an expert. I know a lot, but there's millions of more things I could learn. So if there's anything that you thought I did wrong today in terms of the tutorial itself, let me know. As I said today, I usually use keyboard shortcuts. You can see each button actually has a keyboard shortcut. I usually use those. So that's why every now and then I made a bit of a mess up. So I'm going to get better at using the command overlay, but it is a good idea to learn the shortcuts, because programming on PC, if you don't have a command, doing the shortcuts make it much easier. So yes, as I said, any issues with today's upload, just let me know in the description below. Any issues in general, let me know. Any questions, everything down there. Subscribe to the other channel, like, comment, yeah, all that stuff. And yeah, have a good day. And I know I've just repeated myself a couple times. But yeah, just have a good day, guys. Bye.